At the left-hand side of the chart, we see that there are two possible ways of interpreting it. There is the diachronic view, which depicts 5 successive stages. Note that the stage corresponding to the first year, and the shortest bar above, is the stage furthest from the final consumer good. We will suppose that this stage corresponds to the extraction of iron ore from mines. So, in this stage, there are a number of mining companies which extract ore. They must pay their workers, and that is what the arrow pointing up to 18 indicates. The companies pay 18 monetary units to workers and owners of the original means of production. For example, they pay rent on plots of land where mines are located. Then, the companies sell the iron ore for 20 units. This is what this initial stage reflects. So, clearly, if I am the owner of a mining company, and I have incurred costs of 18 units, and I sell for 20, I obtain a profit of 2 units, which we see indicated by an arrow pointing to the right of this initial stage. You see it here, 2 units. If at the beginning of the year I invest or advance to workers 18 units, and in exchange the workers transfer to me ownership of the product, the iron ore extracted, and I sell it for 20 units at the end of the year, I obtain a profit of 2 units. As you already know, that accounting profit is a manifestation of the gross market interest rate, plus or minus pure entrepreneurial profits or losses. If we suppose these to be absent, then 1 year after investing 18 units, I recover the 18 units and receive 2 more, which would mean an interest rate of 2 divided by 18, approximately 11%, as I explained to the right. Now the iron ore moves on to the next stage. To keep things simple, we will assume the next stage also lasts 1 year. In this second year, or successive stage, the iron ore goes through a transformation process. It is taken to a blast furnace, for example, where it is converted into steel. You see this second successive stage here. The bar is marked 40. We will understand where this 40 comes from right away. The companies which concern us here are blast furnaces. They must buy iron ore. They buy it for 20 units from companies operating in the previous stage. And blast furnace companies must also hire workers and other means of production. Notice the arrow pointing up. As you can see, they acquire 16 units worth. So, if I buy iron ore for 20 units, and then I pay the workers at my blast furnace 16 units, I am advancing a total of 36 units. But I sell the steel for 40. This means I obtain a profit of 4 units, as you can see from the arrow pointing to the right. 4 divided by 36, the amount I have advanced, equals another 11% profit. And we will imagine the process of production continues and enters its third year, since we are following the diachronic outline. It enters its third year. Well, imagine the steel is purchased by a number of car manufacturers and enters the assembly line. The car companies sell the cars for 60 units, but they have had to buy steel for 40, and they have also hired workers and have paid them 14. 40 plus 14 is 54. They sell the cars for 60 units and make a profit of 6, which is also more or less 11%, and that takes 1 year. Then another year is spent distributing the cars to different countries, transporting them, etc. This would be the 4th year of the production process, and as you can see, the final value of its product is 80 units, which includes the 60 units which the dealerships, etc. pay the car manufacturers. They pay them 60. And the dealerships also have personnel, etc., whom they pay 12. See the arrow pointing up. So, 12 plus 60 equals 72. They sell the cars for 80 units and obtain a profit of 8. And now we come to the final stage, the last one, and that is the stage of final distribution, when the product reaches the consumer. Think of advertising campaigns in newspapers, on radio and TV, in movie theaters, stands at trade fairs. In this last stage, the 5th year, the final consumers, you and I, buy the cars. and we pay 100 units for them. That is what is spent on final consumption. Thus we read at the bottom of the chart, final consumption equals 100 monetary units of net income. We purchase automobiles as consumer goods for the amount of 100 units. Those who sell them to us have incurred costs of 80 units plus the 10 they have paid their workers, so 90 in total, and they make a profit of 10 monetary units. Well, we can conceptualize the productive structure from a diachronic point of view. That is, one stage after another. Hence, from the time the car is designed and the iron ore is extracted, until the car has been produced and is handed over, along with the keys, to the customer, 5 years pass. However, we can also interpret the productive structure from a synchronic point of view. In contrast to diachrony, synchrony refers to a sort of snapshot. If at this moment we take a photo of the productive structure, we find that right now there are companies devoted to the extraction of iron ore. We do not know how this iron ore will ultimately be used. It may be turned into vehicles, or ships, or metal structures within 3, 4, or 5 years. We do not know, but today there are companies devoted to that stage, and from the synchronic viewpoint we call it the 5th stage. Why? In honor of Menger. Remember that Menger used the term economic goods of higher order to refer to those goods distant from the final stage of consumption, and the further away the stage, the higher the order. Well, 5th order goods, goods from the 5th stage, are the furthest from consumption. If today we take a sort of snapshot of the productive structure, in synchronic terms, we see that today numerous companies are also devoted to treating the iron and converting it into steel in blast furnaces. These companies are in the 4th stage. They are producing steel which in 4 years, not 5, will materialize into something, though we do not know what. For instance, the steel might become a tower crane, or a tank, or an industrial vehicle. And today there are also companies devoted to the 3rd stage, and the production of all sorts of 3rd order economic goods, which will mature in the form of consumer goods in 2 years. In addition, today there are many companies devoted to the 2nd stage, that is, the stage just prior to final consumption. For example, the suppliers of the Corte Inglés, manufacturers of fabrics, shoes, etc., which are sold to the Corte Inglés. These companies are in the 2nd stage today. Their contribution to the production process will mature in the form of consumer goods in 1 year. And finally, today, a constellation of companies are also devoted to the 1st stage, the stage of 1st order economic goods, consumer goods, the stage which is in direct contact with customers. For instance, the Corte Inglés or the dealerships which sell the cars. Together they sell their products for a total of 100 monetary units. So, take note. We can track the production of the car from the time it is designed and the iron ore is extracted until the car is handed over to the customer 5 years later. We can also take a snapshot of the productive structure today, this year, to get a simultaneous view of the workers and companies specialized in the 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st stage, the stage closest to consumption.